So, I'm going to show you what my garden looks like in winter. It's December 12th. This is winter. This is about as bad as the yard's gonna look. It looks pretty terrible, but let's do a walkthrough. And you can see how much of my garden back here is still evergreen. Back here I do tend to have a lot of deciduous plants, but my front yard is all evergreen. But here we go. We got some real nice cast iron plants. This is quite a nice Candori radicalis. Just gonna kind of roll through here. The Schefflera dropped off a lot of its old leaves. I noticed it started turning yellow about a month ago. Look at that mess down there. You can see the bananas. I've seen better days, but you know, they're still growing. They'll grow throughout winter and kind of get kicked back. Whenever we get a frost, it'll knock them back. And when it warms up, they get going. But obviously the Trachycarpus are looking good. There's another set of bananas back in there. This part here actually looks quite similar to how it did in the summer. See, this side of the palm is beat up because that's the direction the strong winds come from. Let's hop down here. We had quite a bit of rain the last couple of days. I'm not sure if you've heard, there's a major storm moving across the country. It came through our end. Snow in the mountains, but rain, a lot of rain down where we are. The elderberries, it's one of the largest components I have that are deciduous, so this part here looks probably the worst. And what I'm doing is I'm just leaving all of the leaf litter, allowing it to break down over winter and spring, and give homes for insects, things like that. We start getting to this area, things start looking really good. You know, aside from the Musa Bajou, I'd gotten to the point where I had almost no deciduous, almost completely broadleaf evergreen, and it definitely has a great look. Further up here I have some more deciduous plants. The Butylon surprisingly hold on to their leaves unless it gets really cold. So, Sable minor that's getting to a decent size along with some Chamaedorea microspadics. See the Tetrapanix is turning color and getting ready to drop. In a very cold winter, the trunk can get knocked back a bit. I've never experienced that here. I don't think we've gotten cold enough, but they do drop their leaves for me. So things kind of look in a bit of disarray. You can see the cannas and the bananas here, a lot of deciduous sort of things. Just leaving them, letting them compost in the ground on their own, and then we start getting more into the evergreen structure. Little mule palm. Got the waggy here, and the Eucalyptus neglecta has really grown. These things grow year round. Slower in the winter, but they still continue to push new growth, and it doesn't seem to get damaged by the cold, which is quite nice. Got some holly ferns down there, nice bit of structure. And the Himalayan sweet box, it's filled with berries. I don't believe they're edible. I'm not even going to try. But it will be flowering soon. It flowers in winter and has a really nice scent. Got the Washingtonia robusta under plastic, no heat. So not quite as lush as summertime, but still okay. Maybe if it were a sunnier day, it would look a little bit better. Brahia under plastic as well. Tasmanian tree ferns hanging on well. I did stuff some what do you call it, frost cloth in the crown just to protect that area. The Livingstone and Nutita back there is doing good, and these trachys are doing quite well. Just kind of roll through here, and this is where I have some of my fruit trees, so it's definitely wide open. This is where the pawpaws are. Bamboo setting up. Gonna be pushing new growth here in a few months. And then my yellow gum, that one is really growing, and it's even growing in this cool weather. I think it's actually enjoying the added moisture because it's pretty dry in the summertime. And plants that can take the dry still oftentimes prefer having moisture. So one thing I'm noticing quite a lot this year is these two palms in particular are showing a lot of yellowing. That tends to happen in winter. So what I'm thinking is the first time, especially this one on the left, the big one, is showing some yellowing. I'm thinking that they're probably using up the nutrients in the soil. So definitely want to get some fertilizer on those next spring and next year. So this is how we were looking. There's that new Schefflera I planted this summer. With this cooler, wet weather, it's put out a bit of growth, a bit of new growth. We'll just slowly pan back and I'll just show you from the other angle. But right here, this is where we're missing our canopy. The pawpaws are a deciduous plant. Normally I would clean up the hostas, but I'm leaving them. So it's still looking pretty good. I'm not going to be hanging out here because it's quite damp and cool. Come April, or actually even in a couple months from now, generally in February is when I start my gardening. February, March is when we start off working on my new ideas and the changes I want to make. Yeah, even the Waggie's looking a little yellow this year. That's the very first time. This one right here, you can see it. So there you go. That's how my garden looks in the middle of winter.